Hi everyone, this is the video portion of our Chasing Psychological series where we have a chat about topics regarding psychological safety. I do apologize for my voice. I'm about to die of a flu, so this may be my last video, but in case you guys are lucky and we survive, then we'll be talking about topics that we encounter every day in our work with psychological safety, things we've seen teams do and things we've seen that make a difference in the lives of various organizations and people that need to have psychological safety, which is practically everyone. We'll talk about theoretical topics, but we'll also try and give you some very hands-on examples, show you what we've built in our hands-on software, and just generally have an open conversation, hopefully with you guys as well. There's comments below. This is what the YouTuber kids do, right? So don't be afraid to subscribe. I don't think there's a subscribe button on LinkedIn, I'm not sure. But please kind of find us, send a comment, get involved in the conversation. The more of us that understand the importance of psychological safety, the better it's going to be for everyone. So obviously, I'm very lucky to have Fionn here so we can have a chat. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we need to either of us do an intro. You guys can just click on our profiles. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is what we believe to be and what we know to be impression management. Do you want to start us off with a definition, or shall we just dive into it?
I think a bit of an outline would be useful for people. So, we've been doing a lot of work around psychological safety as part of the People Not Tech organisation, and one of the key themes that we keep coming back to when we're talking to people is impression management. And it's just a really interesting topic to understand that is transformative for teams. So impression management kind of does what it says on the tin, in that if you are managing your impression, the impression that other people have of you, that is stopping you from being authentic, speaking up, and expressing your real thoughts and opinions to people. So that's born usually of a fear of something. And the way that it's categorized and the way it's been described by Amy Edmondson of Harvard University is fear of being one of four things: incompetent, intrusive, negative, or ignorant. So that's the outline.
Right, so as soon as you as a team member or anyone in the team engages in any of those behaviors, what we see is a very serious dip in psychological safety of the entire team, which is one of the reasons why we have in the product a section called alarms, so that the team lead knows this is happening in real time. So we believe that this is the number one killer of psychological safety that people should keep an eye on. As soon as you're in an environment where you're afraid of anything, and if those fears are of not looking bad, and that bad takes those four forms as academically classified, but this is a type of concept would you say that you can relate to as an individual in your day-to-day life. So we manage impressions. It's not necessarily a negative thing, right? Yeah. So there's ways in which we want to appear to everyone, from our friends to our spouses to our work colleagues. And some of that impression management is not actually necessarily a bad thing, right? We need to, this is the confusing part of the concept that we think sometimes, is that there's a set of expectations of us as an individual, and we want to present ourselves in a certain way, in a social format. And of course then we will be managing those impressions. Some of those impressions are, I want to keep looking smart, or I want to keep looking like I'm a hard worker, or I want to look kind and empathetic, and so on and so forth. So all of those things are might boost us, might make us be better humans, but these particular four behaviors will always impede us. There's no flip side in which it's a good idea to be afraid to look incompetent. You don't want to say, I don't know this. If you find yourself in a situation where you're afraid to say, I don't know this, then you have a problem. If you find yourself in a situation where you're afraid to say, I effed up, this was not a good thing I've done, I've messed up. So I didn't know any better, I wasn't very good at what I was doing, and this happened, then that's a bad thing. You don't want to be afraid to be perceived as negative. Obviously being negative for the sake of being negative is a bad idea, but at the same time, if you have something to say that may not be positive and kumbaya, you should absolutely have the courage to to put it out there. And then lastly, you don't want to be intrusive. And I think this one is the most interesting one, wouldn't you say?
Yes, there's a couple of different dimensions to being intrusive. So one of them is just on a very practical level. So lots of people, we work in busy organisations. We've got lots of complex elements to our jobs. There's project managers, who are very busy project managing projects. There's leaders who are very busy leading teams and often have some delivery work as well. And for junior members of the team or any member of the team, there's a very sort of significant perception that it would be intrusive at any given moment to go and disturb that person. Whereas, the reality is and could be and should be that that person wants to be disturbed. They want to know if something is going wrong. They want to know if a deadline's not going to be met because they want to work with you and collaborate with you, and work together as human beings to resolve that problem as quickly and as well as possible. So that's one of the elements of being intrusive. And the other one
is, it looks like we've rehearsed it and we haven't at all. I don't know if it does look like we rehearsed it, hopefully. The other one is one that's very dear to my heart, is we're very careful in the workplace not to appear like we are prying, like we are going too deep or too personal, and that's kind of part of the same package as we are afraid of looking too emotional in the workplace. So all the bits that make us human, wanting to know about each other, being curious about the actual lives outside of the office of the other team members, any of the things that really make us relate to each other seem to be off the table in many organizations. And it's a loaded topic because of the days we live in and because of the political correctness exaggeration in some places and misunderstood level of applying that to any organization. Whereas I think what this is referring to is if you have to stop your curiosity, in particular when it comes to personal matters, I would say, if you ever feel like you would have asked that but you just thought that's a bit too much, then that's when you're engaging in that behavior. And if you've missed an opportunity to be real and open with someone and have that connection, then that's bad for the entire team eventually. So those are kind of the behaviors that we are avoiding. When we are avoiding those, we don't speak up. When we don't speak up, we don't have psychological safety. And when we don't have psychological safety, we can't be productive and can't be winning in any which way. So kind of come back and listen to us talking about a couple of other topics next time we're here, or listen to us talking about examples of what we're doing. We're doing some very interesting work with some themes. But please tell us what you see. Do you ever engage in impression management? You don't have to tell us in comments, but try and observe your behavior next time you're in a meeting.
Do you see it around you?
Right, do you see it around you? Do you see team members doing it? Is there anything we could do to stop it? Is there any kind of permission we could give our team so that they don't go there? Have a thought and talk to us about it.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.